Stacks and Pours. Hello stackers, and welcome to my YouTube channel named Stacks and Pours. My name is Shrek and I'm your host as we enjoy some time together talking about the wonderful world of stacking silver, gold, and other metals. Before I forget, let me encourage you to smack that subscribe button and don't forget about that notification icon to make sure you stay up to date with my latest stacking videos. This is my first video, and before we get to the overall theme of this vid, I just wanted to do some housekeeping. Why did I make this channel even though there are already so many silver stacking channels out there? Who am I? And what do I know about precious metals? Why did I start this channel? It wasn't to give you financial advice. In no way ever during the course of watching any of my vids should anything I say be taken as financial advice. I am not an advisor, nor am I really all that great in math. So what's the point then? Well, for one, I've been stacking silver on and off for decades and have different perspectives than many of the other channel owners out there. I just hit the ripe old age of 40, but first started stacking silver in my 20s when I was freshly out of America's elite fighting force, the United States Marine Corps. I was honorably discharged in 2003 after serving my 4 years and bought my first American Silver Eagle shortly after that time. Even before that though, I was hooked. I remember the first gold coin I ever saw, and I was hooked from that point forward. It was a $5 gold Indian head that my grandmother showed me from her personal collection. I was about 7 years old. Then, to help me on my way, she gave me a 1942 Mercury dime that I still have, by the way. And then I bought my first piece of silver when I was about 12 years old. I also still have that one, and I've been collecting coins ever since that point. But I wasn't really a silver and gold stacker until about 2005, when the spot price for an ounce of silver was just about $7. I didn't realize it then, but it was cheap. It was really cheap. That doesn't mean that it's not still cheap today, because if you subscribe to the whole silver is undervalued as a precious metal way of thinking, it's still technically cheap. More on that later. Fast forward till 2009, I lost my job in the construction industry. I had to stop buying silver and gold. Up until that point, I had amassed hundreds and hundreds of ounces of silver. I mean, a lot of silver. I won't go into specifics, but I had tubes of eagles, tubes of maples, other rounds, other silver sovereigns, and bars in the 5, 10, 50, and 100 ounce denominations. We had a freshly minted baby girl who was just the cutest kid I'd ever seen. We had a mortgage that was way more than we could afford given I'd just lost my job and were down to a one-income family. We were able to hold off until 2011 when I started to sell the silver just to put food on the table. I hated it, but I had no choice. We ended up losing our house, moving to a more affordable state, and had some rough times ahead. But I was able to feed my growing family with a second kid on the way, by the way, because I was able to sell my silver, gold, and some platinum to do it. We'll talk more about this in a future video I've got planned, but please know that this weighs into my overall thinking about why I'm still buying silver and gold, even though so many other stackers have set $20 an ounce as their limit. What else? I got my nickname Shrek after I got out of the Marine Corps and worked as a subcontractor with a bunch of other vets at an Army base. The name kind of stuck with me as I moved around, and I still go by it in some circles. As I started this channel, because I have a different way of thinking than many of the other stackers do, and while I don't think any of us are wrong in our methods, I wanted to share my methods with you to give you something else to ponder on. Now, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the topic at hand. Why am I still buying? Silver and gold makes sense for many different reasons. A few minutes ago, I stated that I had to sell my silver and gold just to feed my family. I sold all of my platinum. I sold all of my gold, and I sold most of my silver. What I didn't tell you is that after moving to North Carolina from Pennsylvania, I did start buying again. In fact, I had restarted my silver stacking journey for the second time back in 2018 because we were doing better financially, and I just think it's overall a good thing to have on hand. Again, I'll put out a future video about my selling of the silver and what I learned while selling it all, and if I do it all again the same way in a future video. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to hear about that, because I did learn a lot about how to sell and what I would do differently this time. Anyway, back to my point. There is a lot going on right now in the world. We are currently going through a worldwide pandemic, and as if that wasn't enough, we've got the Fed printing off money like it's going out of style. That's putting us trillions of dollars more into debt, and that debt will probably never be able to be paid off. And now we've got civil unrest occurring throughout the entire nation, all over the place. There are some financial reports saying that the housing market is beginning to look similar to the way it did in 2008, and still others believe that a currency reset is inevitable at some point in the next few years. Nobody knows what the value of the dollar will be, or if there will be something else that takes its place. If there is another currency that takes its place, the best thing to have to convert into that new currency is not the dollar, it's the ounce. If there is financial ruin or the housing market falls out from underneath it, the best thing for those of us with the forethought to hoard these ounces is these ounces. These ounces of gold, silver, and platinum. At the end of the day, paper money really has no value, and stocks aren't always a guarantee, though I do invest our money into what I think is best as far as stocks go. So because I think that metals are the answer to almost all of the above financial problems, I'm still buying. Yes, even with the higher premiums. And yes, even with the fluctuating currently, spot price. And it's easy for me because I have seen firsthand just how high it can go, and we are nowhere near that point. And if you are new to stacking silver and gold and believe any of what I just said, I want to encourage you to stack as much as you can afford. There is nothing that says $20 is the magic number to stop buying silver. Why? Because there are no guarantees in life. That can work for us or against us, but because there is no guarantee that you'll see an increase in your investment, you should probably put it in something that'll never lose its value. I just subscribe to the idea that it's better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. That saying goes to the industry I work for, by the way, giving you a little clue here. And if that saying is familiar to you, and you are ever on the interwebs reading articles and watching videos, chances are excellent that you've read some of my work as the editor of a very large website in that industry and the owner of a medium-sized blog, also with a YouTube channel in that same industry. I'm not going to mention any of the names because they love to demonetize me all the time, and I'm just not taking that chance and getting flagged for any of these reasons. I do plan on eventually monetizing this channel. Anyway, when I say stack what you can afford, I mean a couple of different things. First, don't go into debt for metals. Look at the cash price versus credit price as a deterrent to keep yourself from acquiring more debt, unless it is in your strategy to acquire metals with a credit card cashback strategy. Second, set a budget and stick with it. If you can afford to buy $600 per month in metals, buy that much and not an ounce more. If you can afford $50 per month, don't you dare feel like it's not enough or you're failing because you watch videos of YouTubers with enormous stacks. If you are working on it steadily each month, it'll grow over time, and you'll be better off if everything crashes with your few ounces of silver than the meathead who would rather dump all his money into stocks and bonds or just nice things. The beauty of stacking is that there is no right way and no wrong way to do it. So I'm still stacking because I believe silver and gold are still at good enough prices that it makes sense. At least it makes sense for me. I'm still stacking because I believe very strongly that some sort of financial ruin is quickly approaching. And even if it's not coming, and even if everything blows over, silver and gold have always historically had value and should never go to zero like some stocks can do, or oil. So I'm therefore stacking for the future. Is that retirement? Could be. Is it for my kids' inheritance? Could be. Is it in case I lose my job and need to put food on the table at some point in the future? Yeah, I've been there and I've done that. Silver and gold have already helped me. I've experienced it firsthand and I refuse to be caught with my pants down. So let me know below. Are you stacking for whatever lies ahead? Are you still stacking for whatever lies ahead? Tell me in the comments below. And I want to thank you for watching. If you've liked what I've said in this video, please hit that subscribe button. Also, smack that notification bell and the thumbs up or thumbs down if you disagreed with what I've said. Doesn't matter to me because it all helps. Until next time, my friends, fatten that stack.